Welcome to the Business Spotlight. I am joined today by Amanda Signorelli. She is the CEO and partner of the Golden Steer here in Las Vegas. Amanda, thank you for joining us and taking the time. We know time is precious, so we do appreciate that. I'm excited to learn more about you, Amanda, and the Golden Steer. I know we talked about it earlier. I have personally ate there, and it is phenomenal. So thank you, Amanda. Without further ado, can you talk to us a little bit about yourself and your business journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thanks for having us, and thanks for everyone coming into the Golden Steer. We're so appreciative to have an opportunity to be connected with other great businesses that are in this fantastic community, and appreciate the chance to be spotlighted. So thank you. A little bit of background on me. So I am born and raised here in fabulous Las Vegas. I am a native. I left and then went out to Chicago, where I started at a very large consulting firm called McKinsey & Company. I was there for about 2.5 years, and that got recruited by a venture capital firm to run a portfolio company. And that was my first experience in tech. I fell in love with tech. I fell in love with startups. I had an opportunity to run the second largest tech festival in North America for about almost 4 years. And it was an amazing experience that really gave me an opportunity to understand digital marketing. What does it look like to think about customer acquisition? What does it look like to think about the actual business economics when you're thinking about different things, whether it's cash cycle, et cetera, but really get into how to run a business. Fast forward, and I got a call from my father that we needed a little bit of support at the family business, which was the Golden Steer, and I'm an only child. So we said, you know what, let's jump in, see how it goes, and the adventure began.
Nice, that's amazing. So your guys' restaurant has been around in Vegas, I want to say since the beginning of time. So I know it's been around a very, very long time, so congrats on the success there, and jumping into the family business, right? Question number one for me would be, Amanda, what do you feel is most misunderstood about the industry with restaurants?
I think in restaurants, there tends to be this belief that if you create amazing food, people will come. It's the same idea of create a product, people will come. No matter what, it's still about being able to tell a story. It's still about being able to engage with the community. It's still about being able to have a relationship with your customers. And even if you have the most amazing food in the world, if you don't know how to run the business economics portion of it, it won't survive. Especially for us, this is our 65th year in business. We're incredibly excited to celebrate our jubilation, as we like to call it. But a big element of that was standing through a lot of challenges. When my father first took over the business, they had 9/11 within about 3 months, and they never had more than 20 covers at any point for almost 3.5 months in that business. It was a really difficult time. We made it a year, my husband and I running this business, and COVID hit on the dot. And that was a really difficult time to navigate. So you can have an amazing product. For us, that's food. You can do all those pieces, but you still need the rest of the business.
Yeah, that's really, really good information, because a lot of businesses did take a hit, right? And a lot of them did not survive. And for you guys to be in business, and this being your 65th year, that's massive. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I really like the information that you're giving here, because this is going to be very helpful for people that, one, if they are in the restaurant industry, or two, if they're just in business in general, and how to persevere through these challenges. Amanda, part of the business spotlight is to educate and inspire people who are looking to get into entrepreneurship, right? And on this journey for you guys, what's been the biggest learning curve about the business or industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my husband and I jumped in to run the business together. I was very thankful because, frankly, I cannot cook. I am terrible in the kitchen. I have no idea what I'm doing. My husband is a software engineer who's also a culinary trained chef. Thank God. So the two of us are a fantastic partnership together, and we really complement each other. And we both have our own entrepreneurial backgrounds. But jumping into running an actual restaurant, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of elements that you're constantly learning about every single day. For us, also being around as long as we have a very different maintenance budget than most people. So the next thing you know, we're learning a lot about plumbing. We're learning a lot about HVAC. Like, we're in the weeds and trying to understand this, because it's your business. You have to run everything. So for us, what's been most challenging, honestly, is understanding that at the end of the day, everything that you do each day is what drives you forward. Your momentum on a daily basis is so important. It's not a B2B business where you can secure a contract and say, we're going to look at the accounts receivable in the future. We're going to try and carry that momentum. What you bring to the table every day when you open those doors is a gift that you're offering to people and hoping that they want to receive, because you're welcoming in the doors, you're having people dine in that moment, and you have to be able to capture that momentum at that time. And that's just a very different pace and a very different industry to get used to.
Yeah, I mean, you just give away so much valuable information in that, and I hope people are going to be taking notes, because that was gold. It's a lot of what we do, right, with the coaching and helping businesses grow and championing, for them. In what you just said, it's like in business, there's so many different levels. There's so many different things you have to learn. Like you talked about the accounts payable, locking in that next contract, what customers are we targeting. So it's not like you just got a degree in business and now I know how to run the business. It's a lot of learning on the go.
Yeah.
But having, the support and knowing that you guys have been in business a long time, you guys are doing a really, really good job. What advice, Amanda, would you give 20-year-old Amanda who is just getting into business?
That's tough, especially because, frankly, 20-year-old Amanda had no intention of running a company whatsoever, nor did she think it would be an option. I always had this belief that if you were going to run a company, if you were going to be CEO of a company, if you were going to be founder, you had to be brilliant like Elon Musk. And if you weren't, there was no path for you whatsoever. And that was something that was a very naive conception on my part. I did not understand the different pathways. And frankly, I fell into entrepreneurship at the time when I first had my role as CEO back when I was 26. It was a big step for me. And when it happened, I remember thinking, what just happened? How did we get here? And this must be wrong. So I would say take courage if I look back at myself and realize it is a ride, and appreciate the ups and the downs. Because if it's not just a roller coaster and it's only the good stuff, you won't really appreciate it without the negative moments, which really end up offering you some form of insight. It's just being willing to be, frankly, patient and accepting and really empathetic with yourself to say, okay, maybe in that moment you did something that wasn't wise, but you shouldn't come back and say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. You should say, now I know better. So be patient, have courage, and just be along with the ride.
I love that. I love that. Having patience and the courage, definitely key indicators of creating success, because not everybody was born to step into leadership, right? You're as a leader and you're making an impact in the community. You're helping grow our own economy here locally. You're employing people that's changing their lives. You're creating a great atmosphere with the culture that you have there. Like I said, I've personally been to the restaurant and it was white glove service from top to bottom. So it was really, really good experience. So I know with what you guys are doing, it's really amazing, and it's something I truly enjoy.
Thank you.
Foodie, just eating in general is one of my favorite things. What's one thing about the business or business venture that you did not expect?
It's funny. I had a conversation with one of my professors. I'm still very close to most of my professors from university, and they've been great advocates and supporters for me, even post-college. And one of them said, wow, it feels like you've really got into the hospitality world. And I said, yes, but it's also about creating something that really gets me excited every day. And what I didn't expect was that I would have the opportunity to make so many novel connections with this brand. So today, if you fast forward where we were from 2019 to where we are in 2023, the business has doubled. We have 2 new lines of businesses as well. We're working on a retail product, and then we also have a direct-to-consumer e-commerce product, which has been steadily growing for the past 3 years. And we're in the middle of building out our own proprietary software to be able to connect those data pieces together. That's not something I ever thought I would have the opportunity or the chance to bring my tech background into this new version of an omni-channel, digitally native luxury heritage brand. We no longer consider ourselves just a restaurant. We've made that migration, and that's something we're frankly very excited about, and predominantly has been enabled thanks to TikTok. Again, one of those things I never thought I'd have the opportunity to take advantage of with the cards in front of us.
Yeah. It's being innovative, right? Like, and learning, how do you create that innovation? How do you create, and that's what helps people scale their businesses to the next level. So, really good information here. This is, one of my favorite interviews. Question for you, Amanda, is how do you push through your biggest business doubts?
That's a phenomenal question. And I'd be so curious how everybody has that meditative or what that moment is to kind of move through that doubt phase. Also, the appreciation of just how different everybody thinks through those problems. There's the personal doubts that come in business when you're trying to make a decision, and then are we making a right business decision? We try very hard when we're making some of those decisions to think about what's the micro pilot version or what's the experiment that we can run to answer this and get as close as possible. So a great example, when we started the e-commerce business, sure, there was a path where we could have hired a massive agency. We could have gone to market and spent all of this money and taken a big swing and see if it would stick. And instead we said, okay, what's the smaller version of this that we can test, that we can iterate on? What's the pilot that gives us enough data and enough of a leading indicator to say we take that jump? I'm definitely someone that's a pretty data-driven individual, given my background. I like to be able to see the numbers in the financial model. That's where I spend a lot of my time. And so when it came to e-commerce, we found an option which was going live, and it was at a fourth the cost, half as much time, and it was a small scale pilot that we ran on a third party, and we were able to sell out our inventory in 2 weeks. And that was enough data for us to say, at least with a certain level of confidence, sure, it's not statistically significant because we're all talking about our own feelings, but at least with a certain level of confidence, let's pull the trigger and give this a run because the test was successful.
Yeah, that's, you have to be willing to take those risks, and the rewards can be massive, right? But like you just said, and this is something we teach a lot of our clients, right? And we coach them through this, is you have to test and measure things. What worked, what didn't work, what's thriving, and then zero in, hone in on that, and focus to get you guys going, to that next level. As we're getting out of COVID and we're at the tail end of things along this entrepreneurship journey, right? And stepping into the family business for you, Amanda, what have you personally learned about yourself?
I've learned quite a bit, more than I was frankly ready for, probably. And that in of itself was a learning on how much I needed to open and kind of expand myself to receive those learnings and then grow. And there's been a lot more self-reflection and internal understanding of, okay, what do I need to do to modulate my energy? What do I need to do to be a better leader? What do I need to do to be a better mentor? What do I need to do to be a better mentee? And those are all really important learnings that have kind of come about over the past 4 or 5 years. It's also given me a lot more confidence in, I'm very confident now that we can figure out most things as long as we're willing to take advice, make sure that we're conscious about whether or not it's the right decision or not, be careful, have a backup plan. It's given me a lot more confidence in saying, okay, Amanda, give it a shot. But also being conscious of where that's coming from, because you're going to get a lot of advice in life, especially as an entrepreneur. Everyone's going to have an opinion, and that's important. What's also equally as important is understanding how to filter out the good advice and the bad advice, but never being unwilling to get it in the first place.
Yeah, and that's really important, right? Like having those mentors, like you talked about earlier. You still have a really good relationship with your professor, and then learning how do you sift through the good advice and bad advice, and some of it, you're gonna take, and you're gonna listen, but it's just growing and going through it to get to that next level. So, I appreciate that insight. As we're wrapping up the business spotlight today, Amanda, what's a good way for people to connect with you, or if they're looking to host an event at your guys' venue, or any current offers that you guys are offering right now?
Yeah, for more information about Golden Steer, if you're looking on the online business, it's goldensteersteakcompany.com. If you're looking at the restaurant, it's Golden Steer Las Vegas. Either one is a great place to reach out. For the restaurant, we have a series of private events. If people are ever interested, they're more than welcome to do that. If you're interested in connecting with me, definitely reach out via LinkedIn. And that's the best place to go. If any of those routes aren't going to be it, very active on Twitter, so always happy to engage with people there.
Perfect. What's one question that I did not ask that you wish I asked?
What am I most excited about in 2023?
What are you most excited about?
I am most excited about being able to build out this, frankly, very unique data platform that allows us to scale intimate hospitality in a way that has never been done in the industry before. The greatest challenge we had when we first stepped into this business was realizing there's a lot of tech tools there that are just for restaurants and doing delivery. There's a lot of tech tools that are just for startups and doing D2C. There's very little that work together, and being able to solve that data problem has never been done in this industry, and I couldn't be more excited to give it a shot.
That's amazing. You know, congrats on again, you're taking a risk and you found the void, and now we know we need to tackle it, and combining tech with delivering the product and services that you guys do. Amanda, thank you again for being on this episode of the Business Spotlight. I look forward to definitely dining again at the Golden Steer, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.